Hi, I'm Audrey. I live in the Napa Valley where we believe that food and cooking are a joy and a pleasure, not a burden. I'm going to be sharing some of my family's favorite recipes. I really love a good home-cooked meal, so I'm still cooking. Today I'm going to prepare broccoli beef. It's one of my family's favorite Chinese recipes, and I have to say that about 40 years ago I took lessons from a Chinese lady in town, and she taught home-style cooking. And something that my family really appreciates and all is that this lady named Lily always trimmed all the meat, so no gristle, no fat, no skin. And if you've had encounters with those in restaurants, you know it's not always the most desirable. I'm going to show you what cut of meat I prefer. This is flank steak, and if you look at it this way, that's with the grain, it's called. And so for the most tender meat, you want to cut it across the grain. So you just do like this. That piece I think I'll cut in half, like that. Anyway, so I trim fat off. I don't like the fat or skin. And so, see, it's very easy to cut it, and you get nice pieces like that. Okay. And I have some that I have already marinated. This has 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, a tablespoon of oyster sauce, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a tablespoon of cornstarch. Okay, so I'm going to turn my pan on. I'm going to use this size wok today. And I just wanted to point out I have this little one, which is just perfect for 1 or 2 people. And I was so happy that I found this. It says it was made in Italy, and I got it at a good price. And so I don't have to dirty a big pan just for me or for me and one other person. Anyway, but I'm going to use this one right here. So I'm going to turn the pan on. And I have used canola oil. I have used peanut oil. And today I'm going to use olive oil because I think it works just fine and it's a good one to use. And the idea is to cook this meat in just a couple of minutes, and then at the last we'll add the broccoli. And the nice thing to know is if you don't want to use broccoli, you could use snow peas or what other vegetables that you would like to use. But I prefer either broccoli or snow peas with the beef. Once again, that was 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. And it doesn't matter whether you like oysters or not, because I don't want oysters, but the oyster sauce gives it a wonderful flavor. A teaspoon of garlic powder, and then a tablespoon of cornstarch. So I'm just going to put about half of the meat in there at a time, because that'll be enough, and then I'll do the other half, and then at the last I'll add the broccoli and stir fry it for a few minutes. Ooh, okay, let's put it. That's about oh, look at it starting to smoke a little bit. Okay, let's get some of this meat in here. I wish you could smell this too. It's too bad the odor can't go through the electricity because it does smell so good. And with wok cooking, you don't let it just sit in the pan a long time without stirring it. It's important to keep moving it around so it cooks more evenly. And there's what it looks like so far. And there's some little pieces of brownness on the bottom, which is nice, because that helps add to the flavor. So I'll just keep moving this around here. Actually, I guess I'm doing it in like thirds, because I only put about a third. Okay, so now I'll put that out there and add a little more olive oil. Okay, one more batch of meat to cook and we're done with that. And the nice thing about this kind of a dish is that if you don't have a whole lot of meat, you can still make this work. Just put more vegetable in, which is what I like. If you have extra meat and want to make it with more protein, then you can do that. So it's your choice. All right, I'm going to put this broccoli in now. And stir fry it. You want this to be tender crisp. You don't want it to be fully cooked, but sometimes they don't cook it enough in some restaurants that I've eaten at, and I do like it just so it's tender still, but not crunchy. I don't think it really should be crunchy. But it looks like I need to put a little bit more olive oil in there, so I'm going to do that. Ooh, then it starts to sizzle. And one way to find out if your broccoli is done is just to take a piece and try it. And then I'm going to put this back in with it and stir it all together. And that will be our broccoli beef. It's interesting that this doesn't call for onion. It's just those ingredients that I told you about. So it's pretty simple. Broccoli and beef. With the seasonings. Oh, I know something very important. Something that I was taught in that Chinese cooking class. Lily said to always put like a half teaspoon of sugar in with these vegetables. Even though we're trying not to use too much sugar, but it takes out some of the bitterness. And it's really true. And so that's why you see a lot of foods that say they have sugar, but sometimes there's a very good reason for that. Okay, so I'm going to put this in there with it. There it is, put them together. Really quite colorful, the green broccoli and the brown meat. Okay, I think that does it. So I'm going to put it back into this bowl. Okay. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're still cooking too.